they're off. Welcome to Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management by Dynasty Financial Partners and hosted by CEO Shirl Penney.
Hello, welcome to another season of Around the Track. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management. I'm your host, Shirl Penney, founder and CEO of Dynasty Financial Partners, and I'm incredibly excited about this episode for a couple reasons. The first is we're back taping live on the Oklahoma track here in Saratoga Springs, the oldest sporting venue in America. And the other reason I am incredibly excited is I'm joined by two great friends and business partners to us at Dynasty. The first is Keenan, who is head of sales at BNY Pershing, as well as my partner at Dynasty, Tim Oden, who is our Chief Growth Officer. Gentlemen, thank you both very much for sitting down and having a conversation with me on this episode of Around the Track.
Can't beat the location, Shirl. Appreciate the invite.
And Shirl, thanks for having us.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to jump right in. You guys have seen the show. Hopefully you've seen it since we're in season 6 now. We have one rule on Around the Track. We're going to try to do our best to make our way around the track, usually in 15 minutes, but there's 2 of you, so we're going to try to make our way around in 20 minutes. I'm going to ask you 8 rapid-fire questions. Each one of those represents one of the 8 furlongs around the track that's located behind us. And you will not be surprised by the last question because it's the same question that I've asked every guest on the previous 60 episodes. So with that, are you guys ready to roll?
Let's roll.
Giddy up.
All right. So look, how you break from the gate in racing matters a lot. So I'm going to give you guys a nice, easy one to break out of the gate quick. And you guys can decide who goes first. But tell the audience a little bit more about each of you guys individually, whether it's personally or professionally with your roles at your respective firms.
Tim, why don't you go first?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm approaching almost 40 years in the independent space, supporting RIA community, 37 years of which was with Charles Schwab and Company, and the last year, a little bit more than a year with Dynasty Financial Partners. And, the independent space is a passion for me. Being able to take my experience from Schwab and bring that to such an industry player in the RIA space as Dynasty has been a real pleasure. So thanks for that, Shirl.
Awesome. Sean?
Yeah, Shirl, for me, 30 years in the business, last 16 years here at BNY Pershing, and personally, professionally, love it. We continue to see the trend to independence. It is a people business. I've created some great friendships, including both you and the team at Dynasty, and couldn't be happier to be in this business.
Awesome. Well, look, in our industry, I think the concept of growth means different things to different people. It can be organic growth, for our mutual clients, adding clients, inorganic growth, adding other advisors. It can be same-store sales, for you, or new store sales, adding new clients, to the platform. But you guys are both responsible for growth at your respective firms. How do you guys think about growth, and what are the key items around growth that you guys are focused on now?
Yeah, and I think we take growth and we define it differently than what we see within our retail custodians. We define growth by the partnerships that are formed. We take a very disciplined approach to it. We don't just look at it from the lens of custody and clearing. We look at it through the lens of how do we help one another grow. And what we're hearing from our clients is really they want to do more. They want to do more with us from a platform perspective. So partnering with folks like Dynasty becomes critically important, but also investments and some of the other areas that we complement one another to do great things. And that's how we're defining growth. It's not just a one-to-one type of scenario, but it's a one-to-many.
Yeah, I like that.
I think about growth a little bit differently. I love what you said there, Sean. For me, growth is about, I believe in this model. The independent model is the best wealth management model, in my opinion. And so growth to me is, how do we make sure that advisors out there that are looking out for their best interests of their clients understand that independence has a lot of value to them and to their clients? Because if we can help an advisor that manages 2,000 accounts understand that independence is here, then we will impact those 2,000 accounts in a positive way by helping that advisor make that transition. So there's a leverage play here. The more advisors we introduce to the model, the more end clients benefit from independence. And that's a big deal. And the best part about that is while I focus very much on getting that story out to those advisors, that it doesn't end there. It goes to helping our existing clients that are already independent understand how to better compete with those afflicted or conflicted models, to be able to help clients find the independent model.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And one of the things I love about the independent model is the beauty and the alignment. Right, that we collectively service our clients well, who are the advisors, which then allows them to service their end client well. And we have to stand and deliver. That's right. Or they'll move on, just like they have to deliver for their clients. Right. So there's a purity with the independent model that I think is very powerful.
And you struck a thought there when you said stand and deliver, and I heard earlier in an earlier conversation, stand is service, deliver is experience, and if you can't deliver an experience, you become a commodity.
That's a good point.
And that's a
great point.
So adding to so my next question will tie in, the concept of experience, but also something you just said in response to the previous question, Sean, which is partnership. And one of the things I also love about this ecosystem is there's so many wonderful partnerships where people and firms are aligned in the mutual support of their clients. And I'm very proud of the longstanding partnership that Dynasty has with Pershing. I remember meetings, we launched Dynasty a little over 15 years ago. I remember vividly having strategy session dinners with Ben Harrison, before we even started the business, right? So it's a longstanding partnership. But could you guys each talk about how the alignment in the partnership, us in the middle office, and what you guys do with your just incredible scale, from a platform perspective, how it's 1 + 1 = 3 in terms of how we support advisors.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, what's interesting is that the old wealth management model was very proprietary. You produce the products, you hire the salespeople, you push those products into those clients, and it was all owned within that one ecosystem, right? And something, Shirl,
siloed,
very, very siloed, and something, Shirl, I know you have, coined the term triangulation of advice. This idea that you separate custody from product from advice really resonates with me. And I think it resonates in the market. And I think that's a lot of the reasons why we've seen so much growth in the independent space. But at its core, for that to work, it means that there has to be synergies. There has to be connections with partners, because you don't own the entire value proposition. You have to strengthen those partnerships. And I think that's the beauty of what this industry continues to evolve to, is that it looks at a Dynasty and a BNY Pershing. The stronger we get together, the better the services and experiences, to your point earlier, it is for the advisors and the clients they serve.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's been an interesting journey. We've been partners for almost 15 years here now. I've been with the firm 16 years, as previously mentioned. The 1 + 1 = 3 concept is so true. I've known Tim for 30 years. He's been on the other side of the trade for a number of those years. But now, as one of the leaders here at Dynasty, I feel we do complement one another. We have complete transparency, and we get together on a regular basis to move things forward, to make us better on a regular basis. And it all circles around trust.
Yeah,
it really does.
Well said. So one of the things that I love about when we get together is we both organizations has a really unique purview into the space, because we're working with so many advisors, so many elite entrepreneurs, but also we're working to help solve some of their biggest challenges. So what are some of the bigger challenges that you're seeing out there right now that advisors or CEOs of advisory firms that are trying to deal with currently?
I think there are two. Talent and growth. There's this continued thirst for talent. And I think you'll see the evolution of talent kind of shift from, someone who has operating history within the custody space, now to someone who's a little bit more technology savvy. I'm sure we'll touch on AI. It's hard to get away from a discussion without. But again, that talent becomes critically important. How we think about the business will evolve over time. And so, at BNY, we have leaned in on an analyst program. That talent is, it makes me smile, because what you see within that community of professionals is something probably we didn't see when we were getting into the business.
Yeah.
So number one, I think that that becomes critically important. Number two is growth. We're going to succeed if we can help our firms grow. And how do we help those firms grow? Whether it's through solutions, consulting, partnering with folks like Dynasty, that is where they see value, and that's what strengthens the relationship.
Yeah. I love that. And I would add, the talent succession is a big deal. As we see the aging of the advisor population, especially those early adopters of independence, they're getting to that point where they may not be in it for another 10 or 15 years. And so they need to find the talent, to Sean's point, to be able to take the mantle, to pick up that baton and keep the process rolling. And so more and more this industry and all of us as participants are going to have to be more available to solve that succession leadership, because it's one thing to create opportunities for that next generation of talent that's coming up. It's another thing to give them the experiences to be able to take that leadership role and be successful at it. We have to put them in a position to be successful. And I think there's a lot of more work that has to be done over the next 5 or 10 years as advisors start to age out and want to retire. How do we get that next generation ready to continue the fight?
Can I make one last comment?
Sure.
Because I think what is important is for the three of us to amplify how rewarding this business has been for us.
Yeah.
People don't realize, and if we can cascade that down to the younger generation, get them excited, then we see new entrants.
I agree with that.
I know you guys would agree with this, because you guys hear it all the time too, but oftentimes when we help advisors go independent, there's several comments that we hear frequently after they've launched and successfully moved their business over. One is, I should have done this sooner.
Always.
Right. And the other that we hear a lot is, I'm having fun again.
Yeah.
Right. Because they have more flexibility, more control, the ability to build a client service model the way they want to serve their clients, the flexibility to pay their team the way that they want to pay their team, to give them equity in the business. Obviously, the enterprise, opportunity around building enterprise value has never been higher.
Right.
And what we both do is provide that scale and infrastructure to make it easier, right, for these firms to be able to build the firm of their dreams, right? We love to talk about, we get to live our American dream by empowering others to live theirs. Again, the beauty and the purity in the model. So could you talk a little bit about, because I know it's a focus of both organizations, how we're really passionate about helping an advisor or advisors build a business with the flexibility and control that they want and need to service the clients the way they want to.
Maybe I'll start with that, Sean, if you don't mind. So it's an interesting one, Shirl. Our conversations, by the way, you're right. Why didn't I do this earlier is the single most common refrain. It starts within the process, understanding what an advisor is trying to solve for. And once you understand that, then you mapping solutions to be able to build the business that they can envision becomes actually easier.
Yeah.
The challenge is getting them to think about not can I, but how do I? What do you want to start with? And then we'll reverse engineer the mechanisms, the partnerships, the technologies that enable what you want to be able to do for your clients and provide value to your main constituents, which is your clients, your investors, or your colleagues. We want them to have that business. And so I think ultimately it comes down to starting with, okay, if you could whiteboard this, what does it look like in a perfect world? And then you start to get these aspirational comments back, and then that's where the real meat is. And then you start digging into that, and then once you can deliver that, then you get the emotional response of, I'm having fun again. Well, why would you, right? You're doing exactly what you designed it to be.
Right.
John, what do you think?
It's a great question, Shirl, and maybe I'll start. We have a simple mission statement, and it's to help advisors help more people.
I love that. It's good.
And if we can deliver on that, and it's not a transactional business here. It's a business of, again, relationships, but it's a business of choice, flexibility, and being, transparent on what can we do as a custodian, as a platform, to help these advisors be more productive and do more for their clients.
Right.
If you deliver really on that simple mission statement, you're going to separate yourself in the market. And having fun, look where we're at.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Very true.
You just mentioned something I think that is on a lot of advisors' minds, especially the fact that we have an aging demographic with a lot of advisors is succession planning. And one question, maybe two parts, because speak to advisors that are already independent, they're running RIAs, and they're thinking about succession inside the RIA. But what we're seeing, I know both of our firms are seeing more and more advisors breaking away to execute succession the way they want. Maybe they want to stay on as a vice chairman, right? Maybe they have, a child in the business, right, that they want to not be held captive, to a previous organization, to have more flexibility. So you guys can pick the time frame, but let me just say, over the next 1 to 5 years, if you're an advisor already independent or thinking about breaking away and becoming independent, thinking about succession, what advice would each of you have for that advisor?
Wow. First of all, what I would say is that independence gives you the flexibility to be able to craft whatever role, whatever investment of time and energy you feel comfortable with. Independence enables that.
Yeah.
Not easily done in a corporate structure, right? And so when you think about, gosh, I don't want to retire. Retirement's not in my, genetic, disposition. But I could see taking some extra time and maybe traveling more, or spending more time with grandkids, or doing philanthropy more. You can craft that within the independent space. So you can say, listen, I'm going to move to a non-executive chairman role.
Yep.
I want to play a mentor role to help that next group, but I don't want to do it 60 hours a week, which is how I built the business.
Yeah.
And independence enables you to be able to be creative, to be able to map out how you want to involve yourself,
to customize it,
and then customize it to your needs.
Yeah, and I think it's all about control. I think the independence model gives you the control, the flexibility, the timeline that you're often looking for, and you can do it at your pace.
Yeah.
You're not held to a corporate playbook per se. It allows you to kind of deliver and carry what is passionate forward in an ethical manner, I'll say. And that becomes important to a lot of folks that have gone through this journey, and I think it's going to continue to drive momentum.
Yeah, there's so many different flavors, I guess, of independence, but one of the things that we like to say is you're not truly independent unless you can only be fired by your clients, right? And if that's the case, and you have that level of independence and autonomy, then you really do have the freedom and flexibility to build the firm that best encapsulates how you want to service your clients, how you want to grow it, at what pace, how you want to care for your employees. You have the most flexibility if you own your capital stack, and you don't have to go work for someone or sell a large piece of the equity in your business unless you want to, because you have partners now like Pershing and Dynasty in the ecosystem who give you as much or more scale than any of the previous employed models that they might come from. So very, very powerful. So we're coming off the turn. We're headed towards the final stretch. You guys don't seem to be too tired. So let's finish up strong here. So 2 questions left. And this is one that I'm really excited to hear you guys' response to, because it's something that I lay in bed a lot and think about, which is innovation in the space. As you look out over the next, let's go shorter time frame this time, the next 12 to 18 months, what are some things, it can be in the industry, it can be at your respective firms, what are some things from an innovative perspective that has you like really juiced and excited about what's going on in the industry?
Yeah. Well, I think, Sean, you kind of foretold this a little bit earlier. AI. You can't think about the next 12 to 18 months without thinking about how technology is going to enable some really significant changes to the industry. What I like about that, listen, at the end of the day, this is a relationship business. I do not believe that technology is going to replace the value of relationship. Us sitting here is a great example of that. It still is a relationship business. That's why we all love this business.
Yeah.
But technology is going to enable us to be able to build scale into the parts of this business, parts of the service delivery that is both reliable, accurate, and timely. And people forget that, AI doesn't sleep. So if you're working late and you need answers, AI will enable us to be able to deliver solutions on your schedule, not on the schedule of a 9-to-5 service team somewhere. And so that's going to be very, very enabling. It's also going to allow advisors to be able to redirect a great portion of their internal resources towards more value proposition for their clients and to growth. And I think that's going to be the most exciting piece, Shirl.
I agree. What do you think, Sean?
It is a people business, but I'll complement the AI remarks that Tim shared. We are all in on AI. We have made it a priority within the firm. When you think about BNY being around for 240 years, we are now starting to think differently. We want
You guys
to
are
be
the largest global custodian in the world, right?
$54 trillion in assets.
Incredible.
But again, we've got to think differently. And the way we're going to do that is AI. We have created Eliza. That is our AI hub. Eliza is the wife of our founder, Alexander Hamilton. And it is a requirement for everyone within the firm, 50,000 employees, to get comfortable using AI. Not to replace your job. That is not the purpose,
To
but
enhance.
make you better.
Yeah.
Enhance and do more and think creatively.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys, we come to the last question. Again, you won't be surprised. That is the question I love to always ask, which is, what is your triple crown?
Yeah.
And for anyone who might be new to the show, I'll just frame it. In this industry that's going on behind us, whether you're an owner like myself, you're a jockey, you're a trainer, you're a groom who works in the barn, the whole team, that seemingly unattainable goal that we're running towards over time is to win a Triple Crown race, let alone all three of them. And it drives us. So with that as a metaphor, what is each of your respective Triple Crowns? What is that big goal, personal or professional, that is sitting out there for you guys that has you, flying out of bed in the morning to run after? Who wants to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, for me, Shirl, I think on a very personal level, it's been the same since I started in this industry. And that is, I'm very passionate about the idea of delivering advice in a trusted manner. And I'm not worried about people who have a lot of wealth. They have the ability to afford advice at its highest level. What I am very passionate about is the ability to drive this idea of a fiduciary model, delivering advice to everybody who was trying to accumulate wealth, regardless of where they're at on that spectrum, in a way that they can trust that somebody is giving that advice to them for their best interests. That's a passion of mine. And what I love about this industry is how we have gone from an alternative solution to wealth management to mainstream. This is the way you think about wealth management. Right. And it's exciting to hear advisors that are thinking about moving from an affiliate model to the independent channel describe the way they have been conducting business. They're independent. They're just in an environment that doesn't support it.
Right.
And we become a liberator for that. We help them understand there's a model that actually encourages and supports that. So for me, the Triple Crown really is continuing to drive this understanding in America and beyond, that a fiduciary standard is the standard, and that advisors that adhere to that are doing the best work for their clients.
Awesome. I love that. We love being liberators
we do.
at Dynasty. And I agree with you. I think the end consumer is realizing that there is a benefit from getting advice completely separate from where products are manufactured and sold. And a lot of the advisors, and I'm sure it's the case for you guys too, that are calling us now, are saying it's their clients
Right.
that are asking them, why are you not going independent?
Right.
So it's becoming client-led.
Yeah.
The breakaway client movement is every bit as prevalent as the breakaway advisor movement.
No
All right,
question.
Sean, what's your Triple Crown?
Triple Crown. It's funny you said liberator. I was going to say liberation when you were wrapping up here. Triple Crown. I will take the role of a trainer, and I'll give you a reason why. Number one, I missed the weight on the jockey, but more importantly, as a trainer, what I have learned throughout this entire journey is the importance around financial literacy. And I can get into kind of the business side of things of why I think independence is important, but more importantly around financial literacy. It has become a passion of mine. I recently joined a board, Invest in Others. Their mission is to really kind of take financial literacy.
Great organization.
Love it. Love everything that they're doing. But as I learn, and again, I do learn every day, we get to meet a number of different personalities out there in the marketplace. Shirl, Tim, you guys, I look up to, I see what you guys are doing in the market, and that just motivates me and pushes me further. But again, I do feel the importance of the market, and I think we all carry it where we are at in our journeys, but how do we kind of cascade that down to folks that don't have the networks that we have or don't have the touch points, and how do we bring that down to the basics in market and really kind of push this overall concern around financial literacy.
Well, you motivate and inspire us as well, and
Thank
this
you.
partnership does as well. I love that you both ended your Triple Crown comments talking about helping and empowering more people, which I think is one of the beautiful alignments in this partnership. So thank you both for sitting down and having this conversation with me on Around the Track. And thank you to all of you for tuning in to another edition of Around the Track.